So, it's finally happening. As you know from our content, I love the Souls series very much. Maybe almost just as much as Miyazaki likes feet. I did fan arts, cosplay, got the art books, yeah. Somehow I only played those games as many times as it was necessary for the platinums. So mostly New Game Plus Plus, and never touched it again with exceptions. You know, like Demon Souls for the Penetrator Armor Set. Shameless self-promo. What I also love is the challenge running community. Doomwolf, Press Continue, Backlogs, Gamers Weekend, JK Leeds, Jillinger Andy, and way too many others are my daily go-to for some interesting challenges and trivia about mechanics of these games. I always wanted to do a challenge run, but never knew which one, and understandably so, I doubted my own skill and such. I did try for Blood Level 4 run in Bloodborne, but I did get stuck on one Reborn out of all the bosses and never finished it. I think that out of all of these games, and all the possible runs, Soul Level 1 of Dark Souls Remastered might be the most beginner friendly as, you know, Dark Souls 1 is just a broken mess and you can abuse that to your heart's content. Right, I'm done rambling, let's see how the run goes. I'm Akuma, this is RNG, and this is my first Dark Souls Soul Level 1 run. Also, big shout out to this comment who called me out in the middle of my run. You made my day. I start the run by picking the Pyromancer class, as it is the only one starting with Soul Level 1, and pick the Master Key as my gift of choice. I can progress through the Asylum as per usual and make my way to Firelink Shrine. Obviously, I did have some prep work to do before I could kill some bosses, like collecting the Grasscrest Shield and Red Tearstone Ring. Made my way to Andre, our favorite Oda Himbo, and got my hands on both nearby Firekeeper souls. The Berenike Knight didn't even try, to be fair. In all honesty, at the start of my run, I was all over the place, running everywhere and nowhere because I knew what I needed for my build, but didn't think of like actual roadmap of things and their order. I did try to get Power Within early too, but I just couldn't. It was a difficult road for me, especially with the Blow Dart Hollows. But once down in the swamp, I at least farmed for some green Titanite shards off of the leeches. Luckily they drop in stacks of 5, so I returned with 15 shards in one round and used these to ascend one of my reinforced clubs to Enchanted +5 at Rickard. That's the dude caged in New Londo runes. Yeah, I'm forgetting he exists too. And yes, it might be odd choice to go with Enchanted Weapon, but Fire Infusion is way down in the Catacombs, which no thank you, and Lightning is all the way in Anor Londo, so for now I opted for this. First boss, for some reason, were the Bell Gargoyles, and I must say, the damage was pretty impressive. It took 3 hits to kill the first gargoyle, which is pretty good. It could be much better, obviously, if I was in RTSR range, but I was not too confident about that just yet. Who I definitely wasn't anxious about was the Taurus Demon. After killing the archers, I threw myself off of the tower to get into the RTSR range, which ensured that Taurus Demon gets killed by the plunge attack alone. That was satisfying as fuck. To further increase my possible damage, I needed to get to depth, so down to Undead Parish we go. Funnily enough, I discovered that you can bait not only dogs, but even the assassins to run into the fire pit, which was really handy and definitely much easier than dealing with them one by one. I also freed Griggs while I was down there, so I can buy the Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring later. Capra Demon was just as annoying as he always is, but he falls after a few very frustrating tries. Once I got access to depths, I didn't really explore them anyways. I only picked up the large ember in case I'll need it, and freed Laurentius so he moves to Firelink Shrine. He is able to upgrade my Pyromancy Flame, but that's gonna cost a lot of money. Plus the ring from Griggs, that's another 20k. Yeah, it's time to farm some souls. The best place at this point was the Darkroot Garden unlocked with the Crest of Artorius. Just aggro some of the forest hunters and bait them over the cliff. just like with the assassins, we can abuse that they are just stupid and / or suicidal. It still took a while, but it was better than the Drake Bridge farm for sure. And you know what's funny? Once I upgraded my Pyromancy Flame to max at Laurentius, off screen I went to Catacombs in hope I might get my 3rd club infused with fire. Guess what? Our next boss is completely immune to fire, so both upgrades were not necessary at this point. Bravo me. And if you're wondering about the 2nd club, yeah, I cleared the Darkroot Garden earlier, killed the Moonlight Butterfly and got the Divine Amber. So it's Divine Club +5 now, but my dumbass didn't record it. I mean it's Moonlight Butterfly anyway, who cares about her? She does nothing, just floats down. But I guess people in the office like it. So, Blighttown. I took care of Mildred in case I would get stuck and searched the area for some loot too, and funnily enough, I found Vagrant. Which is even funnier considering I had another one spawned by the Undead Church earlier. I never had them in my game, so I just found it cool and wanted to share with y'all. Finally, I picked up Power Within and made my way to the scariest boss of Dark Souls 1. A naked woman. It went well. Nah, it wasn't that bad. She has a lot of health and pretty strong defenses despite being butt naked. Or boob naked. And sadly for me, I didn't leave a single club without infusion, so I couldn't even use the gold pine resin, which made this fight much more tedious. The key was just to play cautiously and not be greedy, which made her fall on 2nd try. With the 2nd bell rung, we now have access to Sen's Funhouse, but that has to wait as I have more farming to do before I beeline towards Anor Londo. So, back to Darkroot Garden. Farming forest hunters. Yay. Yeah, thanks buddy. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah. And what did I do when I had the necessary amount of souls? That's right, I went back to Blighttown. Like, yeah, that's what I did. With over 270,000 on me, I ran back to Quelana, bought all of her pyromancies just in case, upgraded my Pyroglove to Ascended +5, and then killed her for the Fire Tempest. Last piece of equipment I can think of at this point, and yes, we are still setting shit up, is the Crown of Dusk. For that, we need to kill Hydra in the Darkroot Garden first. Yeah, it was literally harder just to get here, but that's fine, totally not a pattern. I reloaded the area by saving and quitting, making the golden golem spawn so I can free Princess Dusk. Once done, her set appears at the end of the cave where the golem was. Her crown boosts any magic by 20% and it stacks with the rest of the gear. Plus I can be pretty princess for now, which is always welcome. I backtrack to the asylum first for the peculiar doll to get it out of my way before I get myself stuck in Anor Londo, and went back for the stray demon, who had absolutely no issues killing me with the shockwave of his clapping ass cheeks. I mean, knowing me, I probably did mention wanting to die suffocated in some glorious demon ass before, if only it was a different demon ass. Shockingly, dying to the demon was still less annoying than dying to the Torch Hollows, who are as friendly as the tweakers behind your local gas station. Or the train station, I don't generalize. Sen's Fortress was pretty chill, as once you know about the traps, the difficulty of the area is mostly gone. Originally, I wanted to summon Tarkus and let him solo the Iron Golem, mainly because it's fucking hilarious, but I decided not to, as Iron Golem is laughably easy anyways. I drop off the walkway a few times to get lower on health, knowing Power Within will get me into RTSR range soon, and just melted the golem with a single cast of a Fire Tempest. Good for me that humans aren't as flammable. The entire time playing, I was thinking this game is going surprisingly smoothly, but I always bit my tongue, pretty sure Anor Londo will humble me as it always does, but that actually wasn't the case. Aside from some gravity deaths in the painting room and like one other death by the demons, it was pretty smooth progression. The Fire Club +5 is pulling the heavy weight. All Silver Knights die to like a single fireball or 2 R2s from the club. But that might be because they didn't get the benefit of Salem treatment like their other kin. Well, even though these were easy, Ornstein and Small are definitely gonna butt slam me to the ground for sure, right? Oh. I have no idea what happened, but God was I lucky. This wasn't actually my first try, but the second. That's how I knew Ornstein's charge will not insta-kill me, but hits hard enough to get me in RTSR range. I used that to my advantage to evaporate Ornstein on the spot and deal with Super Small with just my club. I know the difficulty stems from the duel fight in Phase 1, but they still don't have any business being this easy. I mean, it's weird, even if I wasn't at Soul Level 1, it would be weird for them to be this easy. Well, I'm just not gonna complain and take the W, head up the elevator and claim the Divine Soup Bowl. Despite the amazing try on ONS, I am dreading the second half of the game, as most, if not all, the areas are pretty bad compared to the first one. First thing though, I will go place down the Lord Vessel before I forget. Trust me, I've been there before, and even after this playthrough. I'm not into war. Frammed. No, don't. No!
I didn't consent to this!
I know I shouldn't question inventory limit and such, but where the hell did I store this bathtub-sized bowl? Well, I guess that's why I have my purse. I let Sunlight Mommy live for now, cause I thought keeping the Jans alive for farming will be cool, even though I have literally zero use for the money. So I obviously needed a Dark Moon Seance Ring if I wanted to face Gwyndolin. Painted World seemed like the best option for now, but when I saw the damage I take, I thought I might want to come back later. There's the problem. You can't Homeward Bone or warp from here. The Painted World is cut off, and the only way out is taking the plunge off of the plank beyond Priscilla. With my current HP, I had to be strategic. I made sure to extremely carefully kill every enemy, one after one, with as much patience I had in me to definitely not screw up. Ha! Fuck that! I just killed the Undead Dragon and skipped it with the jumping R2 glitch. Did you really expect me to actually, play the game with the conditions I set for myself? How foolish of you to think that. I suck at this game just as pigeons suck at building nests. Obviously, I'm going to get any help I can. I hope Miyazaki felt your death, you dirty mongrel. Well, actually, I quite like Priscilla. I just wanted to do all bosses run. Which will definitely come and bite me in the ass if I decide to do other no-leveling runs. But oh well, that's a problem for future me. Now we need the 4 Lord Souls to collect. Sweet denial. As in my other playthroughs, I picked Duke's Archives as my first Lord Soul area. And immediately regret my decision upon seeing that these crystal soldiers deal more damage than stubbing your toe against a piece of furniture. Originally, I wanted only the broken pendant for the DLC, but getting to the next bonfire seemed like a better idea than killing all of these again. After trying to play this as a stealth game, I opted for the Duke skip. And before you will start to type an angry comment about it, I never said this is going to be a glitchless run. As stated before, I'm gonna use any help I can get, even though it did cost me a few deaths and loaded saves before I successfully executed a skip. Also, feel free to write the angry comment anyway, it helps the algorithm! Once the bonfire is lit, I'll leave, as again, I was here mostly for the pendant. With that in mind, I return to the lake and get immediately kidnapped by the Abyss Daddy Menace. First possible roadblock is Ian, the Sanctuary Guard. It's no secret I don't like this boss, and I suck against his lightning, which was what caused most of my deaths. Plus, all of those are one shot for me if I miss time to roll, so no RTSR. In the end, RTSR wasn't even necessary though, because even though he has medium fire resistance, he still has the health of a Victorian child and dies just as easily as one. Well, not that I would know. We now have access to the rest of the DLC. I just sprinted through the Royal Wood with no intention of actually fighting anyone, strictly for my own mental well-being, and booked it straight to the Colosseum, meeting one of my favorite characters along the way.
Let me guess. Snatched by a shadowy limb and dragged off to the pass.
God, I love this voice actor so much. If you didn't know, he also voiced Judah in Bloodborne, among some other characters, and it's fair to say that I love both of these guys.
Did you happen across Knight Artorius?
Oh shit, yeah, that's why I came here. Oh, yeah. I got distracted by this man giving me a royal wood. So, Artorius. This is more of an RNG thing. If you get good opening attack, you can send him back to the abyss with no issues. If you don't... yeah. Fortunately, it didn't take many tries to time it well. The casting animation has you hunched down, causing Artorius to miss with both the thrust attack and the swing. It's almost embarrassing that this is legendary hero of the tales, killed by someone who will keel over and die if they get an eyelash stuck in their eye. Oh well, legends say this is canon anyways. I wanted to progress the DLC, but I also wanted to avoid the Ulasil crackdown ahead by meme rolling down the elevator shaft. But the moment I realized that the only thing awaiting me there was literally just the chasm and menace, I pussied the fuck out of that and head somewhere else. I actually formed some humanities in depths instead. And I think I saw third vagrant, or like drift item version of the vagrant. But I didn't manage to pick it up. This save is somewhat really crazy for vagrants. With enough humanity, I visited the Fair Lady to rank up in her covenant and get the Chaos Storm. Then as a thank you, I decided to murder her brother. With the Chaos Servant Covenant, I'm not only able to skip the Fire Sage and Centipede for now, but I could also pick up the Sunlight Maggot for later, which thank fucking god, this is the only reason why I do Lost Isle before the Tomb of the Giants. Fueled by nothing but pure hatred for the Bed of Chaos, I strip naked to assert my dominance, equip some firebombs and a bow I don't even have the stats for, and slide down this architectural nightmare of a boss room. If you don't know about this strategy, just use the bow to aim to 2 specific branches from this specific spot, then throw a firebomb on each side to get rid of her shields from absolute safety. Once down, I bolt to the witch and shoot her point blank, not only because she deserves it, but also because I forgot I had my bow equipped. Right. Since I have done the Duke skip, I have access to the Crystal Cave. What does it mean? That I get to bully another visually impaired person by playing with fire. The cycle of arson just continues across the games. This blind half-melted candle of a dragon is barely a threat. He is a big and slow target, so missing him with the firestorm is nearly impossible. You can even make him destroy his own crystal, but I never managed to do that. And I know I said I usually do archives first and then went to the Bed of Chaos. Yeah, it was just random this time, but usually I pick Seath first because he is the easiest of the lords. Well, the easy things were done, so now I had to pick up the lesser of 2 evils at this stage. And I picked the Catacombs. And it sucked as expected. I mean, getting to Vamos was easy enough, especially when the Tonys threw themselves off the cliffs for me, but then... yeah, I imagine you know where I'm going with this. It's the normal thing when you visit the Catacombs, it's the bone wheels. Like, I was lucky enough to skip them in the Painted World, but god, did I have to die so many fucking times on my way to Pinwheel. These suckers are the worst to deal with, especially if you aggro more than one of them at a time, actually. Luckily, at least Pinwheel is easy enough, so it's guaranteed first try. Okay, pretend you didn't see that. Guaranteed first try. Actually, I killed Pinwheel like 3 times because I died on my way to the tomb bonfire, and reloading save to kill him was easier than dealing with the Bonewheel Tonys. Neto, on the other hand... Yeah, Neto was more pain than anything until this point. Not only his run back the biggest bullshit with the scaly dogs and an entire Pinwheel forest at the end, but he, in my opinion, is amongst one of the worst bosses of this game. Maybe even the series. Like, why is no one talking about how shit Neto is? And I'm not talking about the lore or the design. I love Neto in those aspects. But I'm talking of the horrible, lazily designed run back. The added enemies who even respawn unless you have a divine weapon. The fact that you are literally forced to take unavoidable fall damage, and not even little one. And personally, if he decided to start a fight with the Gravelord Sword Dance or whatever that is, I was just fucked. He can shake his Metacarpi with Bed of Chaos for being utter trash. And yeah, I know I didn't have to one-shot him, but let me say 2 things. One is that if I get insta-killed the moment I land in the boss room, it doesn't really matter if I have full HP or below 20. Second, Neto is a fucking pushover without the skeletons. Why would I be worried to be in RTSR? He is as mobile as your allies in fear and hunger after you sacrifice all of their limbs. Like, he is not threatening at all. Last Lord Soul comes from the 4 Kings, and God knows I will do literally anything else just to delay going to New Londo. The truth is, I can't go there anyways without killing Sif, so might as well do a general cleanup. I visit the Demon Ruins to send the Fire Sage to the Great Beyond, but again, I don't have a clip of the actual kill, but he did anyway. It was easy, because it's a fucking Demon Fire Sage, like, what do you expect? What about the Centipede Demon though? He is immune to fire. As expected. Do you know who isn't immune to fire though? Me. I died even trying to jump over to another little island that's in the boss room. That's how fucked I was. Especially when this fucker decided to chill in the lava while spamming the punch attacks from there. I can't even summon Solaire because he moves after Bed of Chaos. Like, why do my actions have consequences? But I guess that's what I get for sequence breaking and shit. It still sucks. And this is the boss they decided to bring back with Night Rain. Hallelujah! Next boss, please.
Heretic
Brood. Considering my build, I did try to just chase Gwyndolin down the hall so there is no chance of him teleporting away from the range of my pyromancy, and it took 10 entire fucking minutes. It was slow, but hella easy. I mean, it's Gwyndolin, what did you expect? Sif was also easy this time, but that was especially because I didn't have to watch her limp. Whoa, what the fuck? Well, with Sif dead and the Covenant of Artorius in my hand, I had only the worst of the worst remaining. The 4 Kings, Calamite, and Menace. All of them are beefy, strong, and just seemingly impossible. After a few tries on 4 Kings, I knew I didn't stand a chance. The depth perception was just abysmal. I never figured out how to dodge the homing spells, and if I tried to run away and wait it out, it would just take too long and another king would spawn. This was a fight you can't, but also have to be greedy for, both at the same time. I even committed a war crime to increase my chances, and even then I was sure it's not happening. It's not like I am good at the fight when I'm playing at adequate level, but now it felt so much further from my own capabilities. After spending so much time on this run and struggling through New Londo, I was actually going to just give up. But when I mentioned it to my friend, he said this. All it took was this message, and a few glasses of wine, for me to tell myself, no, I am not fucking done. I have already large enough pile of lost hopes and dreams. I am not adding this to them. I have dozens, if not hundreds of deaths behind me. What will few more change? I refuse to go hollow. Why? Because my stubbornness is much stronger than any amount of self-preservation. If I had to pile up hundreds of my own corpses to climb towards the victory, I will. If I have to bash my head against the wall until it crumbles, I will make sure there is nothing but dust left. And with this newfound fire within me, I also made sure that even the memory of the Four Kings gets consumed by the abyss. Then, in the ravine of the Royal Wood, hid the next bane of my existence. The dreaded Black Dragon, feared even by the mighty Anorlondo. With even hitboxes playing to my disadvantage, every step and every attack I took needed to be extremely careful, as most attacks were one shot, or left me with no space to heal for most of the time. And time it did take, but with time comes experience. Every death was only another lesson, another mistake I had to learn from. When to run, when to dodge, when can I attack? And with enough patience, even Calamite too fell by my feet. The only one was left before the very end. Manus, Father of the Abyss. Already known as the hardest boss of the game, fast, strong, relentless, and unforgiving. Yet I decided that I needed to one-shot Manus. Not only did it seem easier than going through the entire fight knowing his usage of dark magic, but I failed to do so with Calamite. And killing Manus in one input would be truly an accomplishment worth remembering. By that, the fight was no longer a test of skill, but rather a test of luck. It was a lottery, trial and error, and despite this sounding nearly impossible, I knew what I was getting into. I saw the clip from Mr. One Shot and all the runs for Lemon's One Shot contest. I knew about the possibility that it might take over 600 attempts to get the lucky run. If you're unaware, a basic one shot is indeed impossible. Unless you are lucky enough and get Manus to jump for some extra instability damage, as even all three pillars deal only 6033 damage without it. Of course, counting in being in hyper mode. This also is a number that still haunts my dreams, by the way. I have only several clips, but with breaks, this took weeks of trying a few tries a day when I had the time. But giving up was not a route I was willing to take. The fact that it was technically possible to do even on Soul Level 1, even seeing the proof of it, was enough for me. And then, this happened. I did it. I don't even care it was a trade. The blackest of souls is now chilling in my inventory, and it's a proof that I indeed killed Manus, Father of the Abyss, in a single button press on Soul Level 1, a testament to my own stubbornness, and it felt awesome. Abyss is my little bitch now. And now that Manus is down, I return to the kiln of the first flame, buried up to my ankles with nothing but ash. The last challenge up ahead was the former Lord of Sunlight, Gwyn, the Lord of Cinder and Guardian of the First Flood. Oh my god, I just realized I forgot the fucking Gaping Dragon. Happy? Are we done? Can I go now? Cool. Obviously, to end the entire run on a high note, a little summary of my fuck-up, so just you can laugh at me. I clean up the entirety of the kiln with the utmost care. For some reason, I healed once the Great X Black Knight got me into RTSR range, run back the entire area to find a spot where I can damage myself, run back to the Fog Gate, consumed 10 humanities, which I forgot fucking heals me, run back to damage myself again, and then return to the Fog Gate. I am military fucking genius. But now, we are ready for Gwen, and he should be scared, because I'm gonna plong him to death. Let's go. And with this, we are done. Dark Souls Remastered, all bosses on Soul Level 1. I was worried about this run, but it was actually hella fun. Of course, some areas were worse than the others, but like, it was expected. The second half of the game sucks ass even on normal runs. Despite that, I had surprisingly good time and got some great accomplishments along the way. Like, for sure, I am going to brag about the one-shot madness, because I have nothing else going on for me in life. Since the game throws me automatically in the New Game Plus, I speedrun the Asylum, definitely not dying to the Asylum demon, and got to the Undead Parish bonfire. There, I just dropped every item I got from the Vagrant spawning charts I found, one after one, and homewarding after each drop, so the item disappears. I had 3 Vagrants in this run until this point. So, you know, I wanted to use all the items that I'm not going to use on this save. So, yeah, I just kind of hope that I could spawn a few more good Vagrants and hopefully make someone else's day just like someone else did mine. With this run done, the only somewhat logical thing would be Soul Level 1 in Dark Souls 2, which I would love to do. No joke, I kinda miss Dark Souls 2, and I would eventually love to do all the trilogy on SL1, but I'll see how it goes, how that's gonna be from now on. I could say I'm going to take a break for a while, but I said that once I finished my second tier list 2 and started Jedi Fallen Order immediately after, so that would just be another fucking lie. I'm simply not gonna make any plans or give any promises for now. I'ma do it when I'ma do it, and that's about it. This is gonna be all until that happens. If you enjoyed, you can like or maybe even subscribe for more Souls and overall gaming content in the future. Also, comments also help the algorithm too. I hope you have a grossly incandescent rest of your day. Be sure to stretch your back once in a while and to drink some water. And remember, don't you dare go hollow.